Nothing's gonna change my love for you. You all don't know by now how much I love you.
In every lifetime, it's still you. Taehyung and Yuna had been married for 8 years. She loves him, calling Tae. Their story wasn't perfect, filled with mistakes, small fights and long days apart because of work, but through it all one thing never changed, their love. One rainy evening, the soft rain drummed against the windows, casting silver trails down the glass, and the world outside seemed to slow down. Inside their apartment, Yuna sat by the window, curled up on the couch, hugging a soft blanket around her shoulders. She was holding a book she wasn't really reading but was watching the raindrops racing each other down the glass, her heart heavy. On the side table laid a cold cup of coffee she had long forgotten about. Her heart ached, not because of anger, but because she missed Taehyung. She missed Tae's laugh, his warm touch, the way he used to whisper promises against her forehead. She missed the boy who used to dance around the kitchen laughing just to see her smile. For the man who held her hand like it was the most precious thing in the world. Taehyung was late again. It had been weeks of long nights, missed dinners, and quiet goodbyes, not because he forgot, but because life had a way of pulling them with invisible threads in different directions, and the small distances felt bigger day by day. She missed him so deeply it felt like breathing underwater. She wondered silently if love was sometimes not enough. Just as a tear slipped down her cheek, the door swung open. It wasn't Taehyung, it was Jungkook, Taehyung's best friend, carrying a bag, a mischievous smile. "Emergency delivery," he said, winking. "I come bearing your favorite food and gifts." Jungkook grinned, that boyish grin that always made people feel less lonely. "Rainy days suck without company," he said. "I figured you might need a friend," Jungkook said, dropping the bag on the table. "And maybe some fried chicken? And also an advice, if you're willing to hear some bad jokes with it." Yuna let out a soft, teary laugh, gratefully letting him in. As they sat side by side, munching on spicy chicken and sharing old memories. Jungkook had always been there, like a little brother who knew when to show up without asking questions. Jungkook's voice grew gentler as he spoke casually, but his words were thoughtful. "You know, Taehyung," he began, picking at his food, "Taehyung's a fool sometimes. But he's your fool. Taehyung isn't good with words when he's scared. But every time he talks about you, like you're the air he breathes. Even when he's tired, even when he's frustrated, it's always Yuna this or Yuna that. You're his whole world." He paused, smiling softly. "He sounds like a man who would lose the stars if he ever lost you. I've seen him love you in a way that terrifies him. He's scared to lose you, Yuna, scared to the you can ever realize." Yuna felt her eyes sting with tears. She had forgotten, somewhere in the exhaustion of life, how much they meant to each other. Yuna bit her lip, her heart twisting painfully, and said, "But he's pulling away." "Not because he loves you less," Jungkook said. "Because he feels like he's failing you. And Taehyung, he's the kind of idiot who would rather drown alone than drag you into the deep with him." Before she could answer, Taehyung burst through the door, soaking wet, wild hair dripping, shivering, cheeks flushed from running in the rain, but still handsome in all his brokenness, clutching something close to his chest, a small, crumpled bouquet of white and pink roses, half destroyed by the storm but beautiful still, just like them. He stood there, breathing heavily, eyes only for her. He froze when he saw Jungkook and Yuna laughing over chicken wings. For a second, he thought maybe he was too late. Maybe his long hours and broken promises had finally taken something from him he could never get back. At that time, looking Taehyung soaked in rain, Yuna went to grab towel for him in another room. Jungkook called Taehyung many times. Hyung, what happened?" Taehyung looked up, eyes hollow. He said, "I don't know if I still deserve her." He shoved Taehyung and says, "What? Where have you got these stupid thoughts? Love isn't about being perfect, Hyung. It's about staying, fighting, running back even when you're scared. Go to her, tell her, beg if you have to, just don't let her think you stopped loving her. Yuna was standing and listening all of it, but then Yuna's eyes met his, and they sparkled. His eyes met hers across the room, full of desperation and love. Taehyung stared at her, something lighting in his chest again, hope. I know I messed up, he said, voice shaking slightly. I know I've been losing moments, he whispered, voice raw, but never, you. But every day, every second, it's you, Yuna. It's only ever you. Yuna covered her mouth, her whole body trembling with the sudden rush of love and pain. Yuna's heart broke open. She ran to him without thinking, and he also. Taehyung crossed the room in 3 long strides and dropped the ruined flowers at her feet. She hugged him tightly despite the rain dripping from his jacket. He pulled her more closely, engulfing her into his body. The smell of rain and roses was wrapping around them. I'm sorry, he whispered into her hair. For every moment I made you feel alone. I would kneel in every storm, he said, voice breaking. I would run through every lifetime, if it meant finding you again. His voice breaking as he spoke. I'm sorry I made you doubt. I'm sorry I made you wait. But Yuna, in every lifetime, it's you. Only you. Yuna shook her head, smiling with tears in her eyes. You're my home, Taehyung. Even when you're late. Even when it's hard. I don't need perfect, she whispered into his chest. I just need you. Taehyung leaned down, cupping her face with both hands, his forehead pressed to hers. I love you, Yuna. More than this life, more than the next. In every lifetime, I'll still be with you. He pulled a small velvet box from his jacket pocket, opening it with shaking hands. Inside it was the same ring he had given her years ago, the one he had saved up for when they were young and dreaming, but now battered but still shining, the symbol of a love that had survived every season. Marry me again, Yuna, Taehyung whispered, kneeling on the rain-soaked floor. Choose me again, I'll spend my life choosing you. Not because we need a second beginning, but because I want to choose you every day, every moment for the rest of my life. Tears blurred Yuna's vision. Tears spilled freely down Yuna's cheeks as she knelt in front of him, cupping his face in her small hands. I never stopped choosing you, Taehyung, she whispered, her voice cracking. Never. She took his cold, trembling hands in hers and said, You never lost me, Taehyung, she said, her voice breaking into a soft laugh. I was always yours. Their lips met in a kiss so soft, so deep that the whole world faded around them. Only his heartbeat and her tears, only their breath mingling, mattered now. He kissed her, a kiss so slow, so full of aching love. It felt like the world had been waiting for it. It was like he was memorizing the taste of her soul. Behind them, Jungkook watched them with a wide grin like a proud little brother. Shaking his head, he whispered to himself while wiping an invisible tear, Finally, Hyung, you finally found your way home. Jungkook chuckled quietly, gathering his things, and before sneaking out the door, You two are seriously disgusting, he teased, pretending to gag, but his heart felt warm too. He had watched their love grow from the very beginning, and he knew no storm could break them. He said, I'll leave you 2 lovebirds alone, he called over his shoulder, pretending to gag dramatically but smiling wide. Yuna and Taehyung didn't even hear him leave. The rain continued to fall outside, but inside, in the quiet of their small apartment, wrapped in the warmth of each other's arms, the soft beat of 2 hearts becoming one again, it felt like spring had bloomed. They were always meant for. It felt like sunlight had found them again. While snuggling with each other, they remembered, love isn't about never getting lost, it's about finding your way back over and over again to the one who feels like home. It's messy, it's painful, stubborn, and breathtakingly beautiful, but it's real because true love isn't perfect. And in every lifetime, Taehyung and Yuna would always find their way back to each other with a little help from the best friend who believed in them more than they believed in themselves. And for Taehyung and Yuna, love was the kind that would last through every storm, every fight, and every moment in between. Later that night, the three of them sat together sharing food and old memories. Laughter filled the room, blending with the sound of rain outside, because sometimes, love isn't just about two people, it's about the family they choose to build around them, and the friends who help keep them strong.